In this video, I am going to examine how to set up redundancy payments in Collsoft and also how to process them. So the first step is I need to set up the redundancy payments. So if I go to Company and click on Additions, and I'm going to set up 3 different types of redundancy payments, so I click the next fields available there. So the first one I'm going to set up is statutory redundancy, and the next one I'm going to set up is a tax-free lump sum, which it can be payable on redundancy. So because there's no taxes applied to these 2 additions, I'm going to unclick all the way across here, because these additions are just going to be added on to the employee's net pay as a non-taxable addition. Okay. The third one I'm going to set up then is a taxable portion of a lump sum. So if an employee gets a lump sum on redundancy and a portion of it is taxable, it will be liable to tax, so I'm going to leave the apply tax button ticked there. It's also going to be liable to USC, so I'll also leave that ticked there, but it's not liable to PRSI. So I'm just going to go the whole way across and make sure the rest is unticked, and I can save it. So I now have my 3 redundancy payments set up. I now go to process the wages for February, so it's the monthly wages, and the employee that's been made redundant is John Johnson. So I go in and his monthly salary is 3033.86, so I'm going to pay him his salary for the month of March. I'm also going to pay him the equivalent of 1 week's holiday pay, which comes to €700.12. And I'm also going to pay him his redundancy. So just taking sample figures, the statutory redundancy I'm going to pay him comes to 9,000. The tax-free lump sum comes to 12,000. So you can see those 2 amounts amounted to 21,000 being included here on the net pay as a non-taxable addition. And the taxable portion of his redundancy comes to 10,000. So the 10,000 is added on to the gross pay and the taxes are applied. If I look at the workings here and go into PRSI, I can see that the only part of his payment that's liable to PRSI is his gross pay and holidays. Correctly, the taxable lump sum is not included. But if I go into USC, I can see that it is included, and into tax, it is included for tax. So I close out of there and I click on Save. If I want to view this employee's payslip, I can view it to screen, and the 3 redundancy payments will clearly be labelled on the payslip: statutory redundancy, tax-free lump sum and taxable lump sum under the category of payments. So that is how you set up redundancy payments and process a redundancy payment for an employee.